Hey, let's get media. Nope, let's get physical media. Okay, that's a funny name. Okay, I'm Breck. I directed The Crazies, and I'm really excited that we're coming to physical media with a new HDR transfer this spring. Check it out. All right. Hey, let's get physical media. I'm so glad there are fans of actually buying DVDs out there. I'm really excited that Crazies will be coming with a new HDR transfer to physical media. To 4K and HDR, ready to show you guys, so check it out. That was terrible. Hey, let's get physical media. So happy that there are fans of The Crazies out there and fans that are gonna buy the physical disc. We're doing a new HDR transfer, which I'm thrilled to be putting out there, and I hope you guys will check it out.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your pharaoh of physical media. That's right, me, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm coming at you on a special Saturday show, pre-Resurrection Day, of Let's Get Physical Media, your show where we discuss things you probably don't need, shouldn't buy, but we will anyway, and make you happy as we talk about it, because we're materialists, and we can never have enough. But you know what? It wouldn't be the show it is unless I had my compatriot, my warrior, my spirit animal, my trash panda, all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. You know him, you love him. He's Mr. Dieter Bastian.
Thank you for the introduction, Rob. And we put our heads together and we thought, okay, people have family obligations probably on Easter. We do it Saturday. So we are not only a prelude to Easter, we are also a little bit of a kickoff show to the new Wrestlemania, which will be starting in 2 hours. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here, I'm Rocky like Hurricane. And welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where I don't have that much to show, but we still have probably a lot to talk about. And speaking of our heel from the Schmodown, Rob, who never did make the turn to babyface, and some people even thought, he's just a douchey douche that he's playing. He's the same person. I went to Peacock, actually, Rob, because when it comes to WrestleMania, in 1993, this was the first time they were doing an event at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, and they had a Peacock special, Becoming a Spectacle, where they did go back into their archives, brought out material that never have seen before, even the people who were there, because it was the first time they had cameras running and filming behind the scenes stuff. It was just a crazy event with animals, elephants, and other crazy stuff. They did convert the parking
Sounds like a Saturday night at my house.
Yeah, they converted the parking space from Caesar's Palace into the venue, actually. And Rob, one of the most interesting things was actually the price tickets from back in 1993. Could you guess, Rob, from the cheapest ticket to the most expensive ticket, considering how much tickets are expensive these days? Could you just guess in 1993 how much the ticket price were from the cheapest to the most expensive ticket?
Cheapest ticket, $35. Most expensive, $500.
Actually, not that bad, Rob. The cheapest was 25, and the highest was 250.
That's reasonable. You know? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All
reasonable. Right. Yeah. So even so, it was always thought that even people who were not, that well earners could still go for $25 and see the show back in the day.
I like that.
It was really a nice documentary, which was an exclusive on, where do I have it? On Peacock, actually. So even if you're not a fan, really interesting how it all came to be in 1993. And today they have their 41th WrestleMania in Las Vegas again. Insane.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Everybody here is talking about Coachella. And,
yeah. Have you seen Lady Gaga, Rob?
I saw last week.
Performance of her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So
great.
Or as they would say in a Warner Brothers cartoon, the Coachella Valley. Yes,
Yep.
it's not very far away from here. So
Okay.
I did not go.
But I
But
heard there was some organization trouble again, considering people arriving, having stayed in car lanes forever.
Look, man, you know what? It is what it is. Fly in. By the way, I'm getting a little static on your end there. It just started. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, your microphone's going.
Okay. Let me see.
It
There's
just
something better.
started.
Just see if
Don't know
it's
why.
not plugged in correctly. Wait, I'm plugging it.
Uh-oh. Well, what are we going to do? I just want to point out that you have two auteurist genre filmmakers who have important works out today. First, David Cronenberg with The Shrouds, opening in New York and L.A. this weekend, a movie that was born out of the grief of losing his wife. And then, of course, we have Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which I thought was pretty much a masterpiece, burning up the box office, doing better. It beat out Minecraft last night in Minecraft's third weekend, which it should. So you have Warner Brothers stomping across the box office, which is great because both Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, obviously, people were thinking they're hanging on by a thread at Warner Brothers, but now we're seeing Minecraft, which they greenlit, developed, admittedly, before their regime started. But Sinners represents their all-in on talent, auteur talent. They got Ryan Coogler. They made a very significant deal with him that the industry is talking about, where all rights to the film revert back to him after 25 years, which, well, studios, as I've said, pop culture has a half-life of, once again, I'm being choked off. I don't know why we get choked off, Teets. I don't get it. But anyway, I think it's a really great deal what Warner Brothers did. I think it's probably the wave of the future. As I was going to say, let me finish my thought. If pop culture only lasts 20 years and we're seeing studios are licensing out their own films in the physical media space, they're licensing them out. Movies that are less than 25 years old are being licensed out to boutique labels. Ryan Coogler made a great deal, and I think filmmakers who write and direct, auteurist filmmakers, should be making those kinds of deals, because then their film reverts back to them, which I think is kind of a cool thing, and their families can benefit in the long run. But it's great to see we don't have the box office charts yet for the weekend, but Sinners is doing quite well. Now we can't hear you at all. Just so you know. Your sound has gone completely out, which, some people might think is a good thing. I'm just kidding. I kid. I don't know why. Maybe I should let you go. Let me dump you out real quick and come back in. Here you go. I'm disconnecting you. And let's connect you again. Nope, you're still gone. I don't know why. What's with us lately? We can't even do a show without some kind of technical something befalling us. When you might have to restart your computer. I don't know. It's that new kind of equipment that you have. You did get that new mic. I just want to point that out. Don't know why. But anyway, a couple things. As everyone knows, True Noir is finished. I am deep into the perks. Something that is more exciting than I thought it was going to be is Alex Bornstein's soundtrack CD of the music from True Noir, which is very impressive. And he picked out the tracks he wants on the CD. I've talked to sort of a luminary in the field to write some liner notes, and it's going to be a great package. So, if you still collect CDs, it's going to be nice. The True Noir soundtrack is going to be definitely something that the backers of the program will be happy to have. It's going to turn out to be really, really, really cool. So I'm excited about that. And we do have the full strung out version of True Noir from beginning to end without the opening credits after each chapter. It's one long piece. Very proud of that. I'm just going through it. There's a few things I want to check out and make sure that they're all 100% A1, and we'll get it out to everybody that supported the show so you can listen to it in 5.1 or in 2-channel stereo that way. And both of those things will appear on the Blu-ray, which is also in progress. So for those of you who have supported True Noir, finishing it up, I can't believe this. My journey on True Noir, at least hopefully the first one, has come to an end. So, yeah. So there you go. And Dieter's still futzing with the mic. Is futzing German? Does the word futz come from, is it a German derivation? What is the etymology of the word futz? It must have some kind of, Dieter's talking to himself. Look, let's check in with Dieter. Watch, you can see him. He's talking, oh, now he's not talking to himself. Trying to get that mic back. Still not yet. What do you
now, Rob?
No, now we can hear you. Look at that.
Okay.
You're back and you sound great. You're not buzzing or anything.
Okay. I'm changed to the other one, the old one.
Oh, you sound great. The dulcet tones of Dieter. That could be a 70s movie, directed by Jess Franco. The dulcet tones of Dieter.
So I'm back. Like I said, Rob, I'm really happy for Warner Brothers that they have two hits in a row. And we were still talking about Sinners, which actually, Rob, here in Germany, once again, we had to change it. It's called Blood and Sinners, Rob. You know, Sinners alone doesn't work. We had to call it Blood and Sinners. And what surprised me the most, Rob, actually was the format, the aspect ratio of the movie, which is 276:1, because I was watching the movie and I thought, wait, I still have black bars here.
Ultra Panavision
kind of
70.
What kind of aspect ratio is that? And I went back to IMDb to just confirm that it was that kind of crazy format. So I think if it comes to the release on physical media, we will probably not get the aspect changes. I hope we'll get it.
We might. It's Warner Brothers. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but we had Tune not doing it, Rob. You know, so 50-50 chance. Would at least be nice if we get the changes to the 1.9 to 1?
Well, yeah, I mean, the different formats. I mean, you can see it. I want to go see it in IMAX in 70 millimeter. It's screening at Quentin Tarantino's theater, the Vista.
Yeah.
He owns 2 theaters. He has a new Bev in the Vista, which is just remodeled and recently opened. It's playing in 70 millimeter there. I'd love to go see that. Do you know that Ryan Coogler has only worked with female cinematographers?
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. And Autumn, his cinematographer on Sinners, also shot Wakanda Forever. So kudos to you, Ryan Coogler. Love seeing an auteurist vision. Hopefully, it'll make more money, and we'll be seeing more. We'll look. It's totally original film. He came up with, and you know what? I got to tell you, you know what I haven't stopped thinking about. Did you ever see a movie called Adventures in Babysitting?
I remember the title, Rob.
Well, there's I only saw the movie once, like maybe twice, the second time on cable. But there's a scene when they like go into a blues bar.
Okay.
And there's a guy that's like, "Ain't no one gets out of here without singing the blues." And ever since I saw Sinners, I keep thinking about singing the blues. When I was interviewing Ruth Carter for Designing Hollywood this week, she and I were talking about. I said I grew up in Seattle, but I've always wanted to, go to a real juke joint. I've been to Louisiana, been to the bayou, taken a swamp boat, and we were bonding over our love of The Color Purple, because The Color Purple has a juke joint, and she was telling me like the scene when Margaret Avery, they leave the juke joint and they go into the church.
Yeah.
She goes to sing to her father. I love Ruth Carter. I love talking to her. She's the best. But yeah, I kept thinking about Margaret Avery singing, "Sister, you've been on my mind." But Sinners has got me in a blues kind of mood. Speaking of which, there's a great movie on Criterion if you've never seen it. It's called Round Midnight. Herbie Hancock does a score. It stars Dexter Gordon as a heroin-addicted horn player in Paris. And Bertrand Tavernier directed it. It's just a great movie. If you've never seen it, you should see it. And it's got a great soundtrack album.
Yeah.
So,
and for me, the score was actually the one that was carrying Blood and Sinners.
What a score!
Yeah, totally.
The music in that film. I hope we're going to watch a lot of reaction videos with Gen Z people discovering great blues music.
Yeah,
so
it was a nice mix of From Dusk Till Dawn, a little bit of a spritz of Crossroads in it.
There was a little bit of I was thinking about that too. I love Crossroads.
Yeah, me too.
I do.
Me too.
I love it. Walter Hill, come on, man, it's great. For what it is, the Karate Kid meets the devil at the Crossroads.
Speaking of the devil, Rob, like you, I of course finished Daredevil, Born Again, and I heard on the internet, Rob, so episode 1, 8, and 9 are the new episodes, and the rest are the old that were already made, just with some touch-ups here and there.
Yeah, that's
as I heard.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that because you don't see Matt Murdock as Daredevil. You know, that was the whole thing, was more the Matt, and you could see that was, look, you're not going to shoot a whole season of TV and not use it. You're not going to throw it away. So it was kind of a triage job, but I thought it worked. I mean, for the most part. And maybe season 2 is going to be, you know, they're leaping off, using it as a jump off point. But I mean, I don't have a problem with that. You know, it's so funny. I think as a production, that it was a smart thing to do. They retooled it. They figured out what was wrong with it, and they kept as much as they could because they'd already spent tens of millions of dollars. So, but by the way, do you know what the real story is? When I thought I was out, they pull me back in, even though I am excited. Andor starts on the 22nd, starts in 3 days.
Yeah.
And there's been people that have seen the entire 12-episode season. Okay. Everybody's raving about it. They're saying it's like the great. I've been hearing this before any reviewers had got to it, but like Steve Perry Nemiroff saw it, Steve Frosty at Collider saw it, and they're saying it's like the greatest Star Wars thing ever, which I can believe, just seeing the clips and all that.
And I like that they're releasing 3 episodes at once, Rob.
Yeah,
every week,
because each it's a year of time. So we're seeing 4 years that lead up to Rogue One. Yeah. And I have to say,
so we always have a whole Star Wars movie each week now coming up.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. You know, I haven't been because this is, look, to me, this is the wars part of Star Wars. You know, people forget that the Jedi Knights and all that were a rather small portion of the original film. So when I was a kid, I mean, Jedi Knights were cool and they talked about them, but you didn't really get to see them. You know, you saw the training in Empire, but Star Wars was about the war of it all. You know, the Empire and the rebels and all that. And so I love that Andor is leaning into that. And a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't feel like Star Wars? I mean, it's really interesting. It's kind of a generational thing. It's when you came to Star Wars, what already existed and what you could lean into and all that. So for me, Andor, I mean, Star Wars was a men on a mission movie. It was the Guns of Navarone. You know, call it what you want. So I love the first season of Andor, and I cannot wait to see this new season. It's only 3 days away.
Okay. And for me, Rob, considering Daredevil Born Again, a fine show, good one, not at the height of the Netflix show, but at least we have a foundation to go on from here to something that's even more better, perhaps with a more cohesive addition to it than this show was. And of course, Rob, Last of Us has started finally. It's the first episode. I quite enjoyed the first episode.
I did too.
Switched it up a little bit. Looking forward to Monday. And of course, when will the big event happen? Ending of the season, mid-season. Let's see how the fan outrage will be.
It's going to be fun.
Certainly.
I mean, I thought that they did a really great job. Like Catherine O'Hara is the therapist. When she says, "You killed my husband," and we don't know how that's going. I'm sure we're going to see a flashback and how that's going to play out. I think they've really done a great job in that first episode of teeing up what's going to happen. That there's consequences for all of these actions, and really, they've really heightened the emotions. And I really thought seeing Abby in the beginning with all of the people that had died as a result of Joel's actions, I thought that was a really a great way to play it. And I wish sometimes critics, online pundits could step back a little and examine what they're actually doing. Although I think some of the reactions to our star about her looks is pretty abhorrent, to be honest. I mean, she's a great actress. So
people wanted really close to what the game represents, Rob.
But the game is I get it, but it's a video game. It's not.
Yeah, right. But strangely, they hit the nail with Pedro Pascal, considering Joel.
Right. Yeah.
And then, of course, Rob, it was time to leave. Unfortunately, the White Lotus for the third season. Had a good time again with season, but for me it was the weakest of the three. But I'm still love to hanging out with those people at these resorts. And I think White Lotus captures what we always talk about, that slow burn. That burn is always there when know it will be culminating in something bigger. And the cast was great again, and for me, and that it's one showrunner, Mike White, who writes and directs the stuff all by himself.
Again, it's an auteurist show. So yeah.
And it's always great that you have only little flashbacks to the other two shows, but each is more a standalone season. And this afternoon, Rob, I saw the best action comedy of the year, Rob. Because I saw, strangely enough, Rob, I saw Fight or Flight with Josh Hartnett.
Really? I mean, I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, and strangely enough, Rob, the release date says it will come out in the States in May. So I don't know about the release dates, but here it's available on Amazon for a cheap price to rent. And I thought, it's a brand new movie. I need to see that because I heard good things, and I had a blast, Rob. It's bloody, it's bone-breaking, and you can tie it to True Noir because Katie Sackhoff is in.
That's right.
Flight or Flight.
Because everything can be tied to True Noir.
Yeah, correct. And I had a blast, Rob. It is like, Let's Get Physical Media Contact says, a little bit like Bullet Train, but on a plane, Fight or Flight. But the only thing, Rob, the poster motives for this movie are atrocious. I didn't find anyone that I would say is great. Would you entice to see the movie? But I had a blast. Yes, the CGI are a little bit wonky, but it's a hell lot of bloody fun, Rob. Well,
that should be on the poster. Hell, a lot of bloody fun.
Yeah.
Dieter Bastian. Yeah. Let's Get Physical Media.
I had a blast this afternoon because I was totally into it. And it immediately starts with total mayhem, and then of course we have 12 hours earlier or a day what it was. The usual, but I had a blast with Fight or Flight. And the only question that I have is, why did Josh Hartnett play something like that earlier in his career?
Well, he had to become seasoned. He wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And now he is.
Rob, like I always say, Fight or Flight has memorable kills. More than one. More than one.
Well, that's good.
That's good. Believe me. And Katie Sackhoff is in it too.
You know, we did at one point go after Josh Hartnett to be the lead in True Noir. But he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. That would be nice too. So this was the stuff, Rob, that I've seen on stream. Let me just see. We have Sinners, we had Fight or Flight, we had Becoming a Spectacle, the Peacock Special, and the 3 shows. Yeah, that was what I've seen on streaming.
You know what else? You know what else dropped that I watched the first episode for is the second season of the ILM show on Disney Plus, the documentary about the history of Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah,
the first season.
I didn't
was
know
really
that
good.
they were doing a second season. Rob.
Yeah, there's a second season.
Oh, nice.
So that's good.
What they are covering with the second season, Rob?
It's post Jurassic Park. They're covering the Star Wars prequels. So
nice.
And the creation of Jar Jar and all that. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I think we had some super chats that came in, Rob.
We do. Our friend Paul Allen Bernardo says, "Hi, Robin Dieter. Going to see Sinners on Tuesday at the Regal Opry Mills, one of only 12 true 70mm IMAX screens around the world.
Nice.
Can't wait to see it."
Nice.
Well, yes, that's
lucky you that you had something in your vicinity.
Yeah, that's very cool. B Depp, our friend B Depp, says he celebrates 20 months of membership. He says Adventures in Babysitting with Elizabeth Shue plus adolescent me.
That was.
Oh yeah. Robert Giacchinides says, "I wanted to know which Savage Steve Holland movie do you prefer, Better Off Dead or One Crazy Summer?" Yes, Rob, I know Curtis Armstrong is in True Noir. Probably Better Off Dead, although I like them both. I saw both in the theater, actually. Yeah, probably Better Off Dead. Although it's been, you know what? It's been so long since I've seen those movies that maybe as I've gotten older, my taste changed.
It could always be a possibility. Rob.
Yeah.
It's always great to reevaluate movies.
Yes, 100%. Why not? They hit you differently. Bo Edmonds says Denis Villeneuve and Rob agree on Star Wars. Well, that's because I'm always right. You know, when I have luminaries, what you should say is that Denis agrees with me on Star Wars instead of Denis and Rob. You should say Denis agrees with Rob. No, I'm just kidding.
Like Mark Kermode always says, Rob, you can have your opinion, but it's wrong. You know?
Right, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, you know, it's one of the things I think that it's been really interesting to be a critic or an online pundit. You know, I started out, I was on TV shows. I was like on SF Vortex on a weekly basis as part of their rotating group of people. It's kind of like at the end they had the War Room, which is like being on the Bill Maher show. That was in the mid-90s. And then I wrote for Sci-Fi Universe magazine. And, you know, you really see when it comes to cinema, being that cinema was the art form of the 20th century, we lived through when you talk about classic, I mean, I would say that beginning in the 70s with all of the giant movies like The Godfather and Exorcist and Jaws and the big blockbusters, Star Wars, I lived through that. So I was able to see all of these movies hit for the first time. And a lot of the online pundits now are much younger than I am. So they saw things after they already existed. So if you're born and you're playing catch up, it's a different, it's different. Like if your first experience with CG was seeing Jurassic Park when you were like 6, we got stop motion black and white creatures like the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I'm kind of glad I got to see the progression of everything, because now everybody expects a certain level and they expect things to hit a certain way, when I'm like, man, I saw when things didn't hit that way and was able to live through and appreciate the progression of what we have now. Now, I'm not saying that, people say, oh, you're just an old man shouting at clouds. But I would say that there's perspective that's missing with a lot of online punditry today. just because people didn't live through it. They already had it all, and cinema has not changed that much. If anything, I think visual effects and CG is getting worse because
strangely, Rob.
Well, I think it's getting worse because it's being used too much. It's become a crutch.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tool that was very specific. Now we can put in CG backgrounds.
We do it in post.
Yeah, we're doing everything in post. And also an effect shot is all about the design of the shot. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten. I remember seeing movies like Wing Commander, where space battles were just this cacophony of CG ships going everywhere. Yeah. And you have to design a shot. And now there's a lot of people, because we have a lot of previs departments and things, there's an incongruity between, say, what a director's vision is and when you get to the CG. And obviously CG artists are overworked. There's too much CG that needs to be done. So I think that the over-reliance on CG has hurt science fiction, fantasy, and horror films over the last 20 years.
And there are many different effect houses that are working on the same movie.
Yeah. There's an incongruity to all of it, and I also think that unfortunately there's not a lot of visionary stuff happening. One of the things about Sinners, whether you like it or not, I got out of it what I always look for in films is the auteurist vision. I mean, his approach to the history of music, for instance, and how the bond between the past, the present, the future, the way he played with that. Like even though, yes, there's a vampiric component to it, but there's also an overall magical realism component to it as well. It felt like, when you go into the South, especially you go to New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans a few times, and it always seems to me that New Orleans is a city that exists out of time. It's a big part of America, but it seems like New Orleans is kind of like Lovecraft country. When you go into New Orleans, you're not quite tethered to the real world anymore. And of course, that's just me, having read Interview with a Vampire when it first came out, and all the Haitian voodoo and the fact that you've got the Creole culture. And that's one of the things I love about New Orleans is it's there's no other city in the United States remotely similar to it. And I love that. And I think that there's something about horror films that are set in Louisiana or set in Sinners is Mississippi, but it's I don't know. There's just something about it. By the way, Sinners is also set in 1932, the same year that True Noir starts. And Smoke and Stack used to work for Al Capone, played by Anthony LaPaglia in True Noir. Just saying. So,
and we should remind the people who haven't seen Sinners, not spoiling anything, but stay. There is coming stuff more at the end credits. Two. Correct. And the first one is not just, a small throwaway stuff.
No, it's like 10 minutes long.
Long scene.
Yeah, it's really... And
so stay, people.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Walter White Walker says, I just saw Patrick Stewart in a wig for a TNG test shot. Wow, yeah, he had his hairpiece sent over from England, and they decided not to have him wear it. Thank God.
Good choice.
Definitely. So, what do you want to do?
Show stuff, Rob.
Let's show what we get.
Well, who starts, Rob?
Well, I could go. I'll start. So, okay. I used to have a poster, a very offensive movie poster. It was a real movie poster.
As the heel that you are, Rob.
For a movie called Nazi Love Camp. And it's a Jess Franco movie. It was really lurid. I don't know how I acquired it. But I'd never seen the movie. And, I had like the Ilsa movies. I'd seen Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS and stuff. And there was lots of, Nazi exploitation movies. But I'd never seen... So I got this as a Schnäppchen. It just popped up. And this is from the Jess Franco
in the bag.
Goya collection with a German cover. And here it is.
Love Camp. Frauen im Liebeslager. Das Frauencamp in der Urwaldhölle. The woman camp in the tropical hellhole.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, and it's great because it does have a reversible sleeve, and it has the rating, but it's a different rating. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what that
is. That the German Blu-ray, Rob?
Yeah,
you bought a German Blu-ray. Oh, okay, nice, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna get a movie about a Nazi love camp, I got to get it from the source, right? So so I had to get this. I've never seen it. 70s bush porn, 70s exploitation. But it does say that it is uncut.
Okay.
And it's 79 minutes long. So there you go. Just another movie that I wanted to pick up that we've talked about.
Just looking for that movie now, Rob.
Yeah, I finally picked up this from the boys who brought you inside.
Oh, nice.
I've heard how good this is. So Rob, my friend Rob G says
it's a nice one. Nice one.
Yeah. So I had to get that. And again, this popped up.
I think Rob helped me. I think it was the follow-up after Inside.
Yeah, it is. And it is a.
You
know what? I didn't even realize. I didn't even look. But I hope it has English subtitles.
Oh. It could be a problem, Rob.
Now that I'm thinking about it, might not. So, but you know what? That's what if they have French subtitles, I can put my phone up and use Google Translate to immediately translate those subtitles, which I've done before. So, can do that. And then let's see what I got. I got Bike Riders in 4K.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to,
probably Schnäppchen.
Yeah, I got it for a Schnäppchen. I did. And then randomly, Warner Brothers sends me random stuff. But Batman, or maybe somebody knew that I just said, there's nothing in the world that cannot be made better without the proper application of ninjas.
Correct.
Well, here's Batman Ninja.
Oh, nice, Rob. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, so
is that actually, Rob, from the same animators who made the Yakuza one?
This is Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League.
Nice.
So,
and the other was called, I don't remember. Batman.
I do not remember it either. But that was my first set of stuff.
Okay. I only have one set of stuff. First one, actually, the replacement disc for the cell.
Oh, I gotta get mine. Did they just send that to you, or did you have to order it?
No, you have to go through the process, sending an email. How do you purchase it? Your order number, the whole shubla, unfortunately. Next one, already owned, but it came out as a 4K in the UK, and I love this movie from Neon way more than Long Legs. I bought Cuckoo again as a 4K, England. Nothing special to it, but comes with a 4K and the Blu-ray, and this is a better movie than Long Legs. Cuckoo. Let me just see. Then Cat in the Bag for me. I only know that Andrew Dice Clay has a small role in it, but this is an old one. Perhaps you know it better, from 88 Films, Rob, under the Slasher Classics collection. It came out, we called Wacko.
Wow.
So it was the cover artwork underneath it, and even a booklet in it, and it says it is a 4K restoration from the original negative. And it comes with a small booklet too. And I think it's out in the States too, from 88. So it came out in both countries. So Wacko.
Well, there you go.
Never seen it. Cat in the Bag. The next one, actually bought it for the third time, but the first edition, the US version, I gave to a friend, and I already have the French media book, and now I added the German media book.
Oh, okay.
It. Because the US I gave away to a friend, and I'm actually liking the inside. Remember, you are the one, and then we have on the back, so the 4K and the Blu-ray comes with the activator.
Nice.
Of course, we have some probably production notes here over the director, Coralie, and a little bit of explanation. So the German media book for the substance, which actually looks better than I was expecting. And strangely enough, it is released from Mubi here too.
That's interesting.
Which I don't know if they ever released something in Germany here. And Rob, while you had your Frauen im Gefangenenlager, or what it was, I, on the other hand, have this one. Lilith, Odyssey of Sin. And it says on the back, Rob, that this exploitation movie is forbidden in the United Kingdom. Just saying.
Does it say why?
Why?
Why is it forbidden?
No, I don't know. It looks like hard stuff. But let me just help you out there. The original title or on IMDb is actually Boy Galdek. Is actually the title of the movie. So this is
where is that from? What country is that from?
I think it's from the Philippines, Rob.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes, Filipino. So Odyssey.
What year is it? What year is it?
From 2024. So it's not.
Oh, so it's new.
That old.
Yeah, I don't deal with new sexploitation movies. I gotta have them from the 70s, man. Come on.
You had the reversible cover artwork, so you got rid of the.
That's interesting that they banned a movie in the UK.
Yeah, strange enough. So really looking forward to it.
Where did you find that?
Browsing, Rob. Browsing.
Of course.
Or it was just some website.
Browsing on the dark web.
Yeah. No, not the dark web, Rob. But you stumble across a banner on a website and you think, oh, what is that banner? What kind of title is that banner showing me here? You know, and then you do a little bit more of a deep dive. Okay, it's not that expensive. Click, you know. It always happens. Next one, Cat in the Bag from Velgo USA from America with our star of the Squid Game series. She's coming for revenge, Rob. The film is called Revolver.
Oh, I saw that. That looked interesting.
Yeah. So, but Cat in the Bag for me. Have not seen it yet. Then our friends from Turbine continue their 3D streak, and Minecraft is still playing, but they released the Super Mario Bros. In 3D. No. So they continue their 3D series with Dolby Atmos in English and German.
Nice.
And the last one that I did get, because I quite enjoyed it. I know most people are not that fond of the remake from John Woo's own movie, but I quite enjoyed it from Universal. The Killer from John Woo itself. Nothing special to it, but at least it's nice to see that they're at least releasing their stuff on physical media. And just quick, Rob, last week I showed Ninja Commando, you know, Ninjas in the Dragon's Den, and I think I forgot to mention that Hiroyuki Sanada, which we all know from the Shogun series, is playing here. So 40 years ago, he was already in the movie. And I was very happy, Rob, when I saw the movie. It's the first that Koyun directed, actually, and still showed his style. And I watched the movie, and it was always one Easter that I saw back, you know, as a teenager, but I always couldn't remember the title. You know, never knew what that movie was, but I always remembered some of the fight scenes. And this is actually the movie, Rob, that I was searching for. So finally, the gap had been closed.
I love it when that happens.
And I was really hoping, or I would really hope, that Vinegar Syndrome, because the transfer is okay, but it could be better. Could be better, So this one is just as No Retreat, No Surrender, from the same company, Seasonal Corporation. So that's probably with the film rights, probably perhaps a hold up. But people are always asking about movies which I would love to see in better versions. These are fine, but those are two of those movies that I would love to get some, thick vinegar syndrome box of those. This was my whole up. Not that many.
Well, I got a few more I could show. We can just be done.
Okay.
First of all, I finally remembered that I did get this, the Last of Us Steelbook,
Awesome.
which I love this Steelbook cover. I do, the Cordyceps cover. And there are 4 discs in here. So,
awesome.
And then there's just a photograph in the back of them. But
really
like the first season, and I like the first episode. So, hey, how could I pass this up? Then, of course, like everybody, I had to get the Tombstone Steelbook.
Oh, nice.
This is actually I really love this Steelbook. It's very nice. And then inside, what does it have inside?
Did you have a chance to look at the quality, Rob?
I did. I put it in. It's amazing.
Okay.
It looks and sounds incredible.
Awesome.
It's a great. As a matter of fact, I didn't quite get the disc back in all the way. There we go. But it's great. Great to finally have this.
Awesome.
And and then Lionsgate Limited. I got a box from Lionsgate Limited. So I did get King. I love this movie. Abel Ferrara's King of New York.
Oh.
And again, Lionsgate Limited. They have the cool. I really like how they're leaning in to these. The slipcase with the titles, and then you got, of course, Lawrence Fishburne, Larry Fishburne, and Christopher Walken. And
nice.
I haven't even opened this. So, although I have heard that there might be a problem with the surround channels on this disc.
Okay.
Bill Hunt mentioned that to me, and I haven't heard whether that's true or not.
Yeah.
But Lionsgate's on it. They are aware of it. And so, what are you going to do? But anyway, they'll send you a replacement disc. Really I love this movie. Great to have it in 4K. And then, of course, everyone knows what's coming.
Yeah.
So to speak. Woohoo! Now, as you know, I did buy the Studio Canal version of this. And there was some controversy because first of all, the film looks better than it's ever looked. It's never looked very good on home video in any iteration, not on Laserdisc. I've owned this on Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, and now I have multiple versions on 4K. This is, however, a different encode than the Studio Canal version. The bitrate's higher, and so it looks incredible. Yes, does it still suffer from the teal and orange? It leans into that. It does.
I think that's your main problem, Rob. Not the sharpness or something.
Yeah, no,
that's color grading.
It's not that it looks bad. It just doesn't look right. And Studio Canal would not let Lionsgate change the transfer. So anyway, but the disc is, again, it's a very great disc. Now, why this is so cool? I actually really like this artwork here on the back too. It's really cool. And then, of course, it's weird because I have a quarter scale statue of Sharon Stone in this exact same pose.
Yeah.
But she's got her cigarette up in her little book. Now, this has 3 discs in it and a digital code. But what's so amazing about this, and where this really, if you've got the Studio Canal version, where this exceeds the Studio Canal version, not just with the encode, is this has a lot more special features on it. And one of the things that thank God, Cliff Stevenson, Lisa's husband, our friend Cliff, knew, is that on Laserdisc there was an almost hour-long interview piece with Verhoeven, Sharon Stone, Gene Triplethorne, and Michael Douglas, that did not, like, no one had it. It had only ever appeared on Laserdisc. They found it and put it on this disc. That's almost an hour-long program, and there's massive amounts of special features on this set. So for those who love Basic Instinct, and I do, it's great to have this package, because this will be the definitive release of the film. So I really like what Lionsgate did, and they went all out on it, and yay for us.
Nicely done.
So thank you, Lionsgate. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Cliff. And it's great because I've hung on to my Laserdisc, the double disc set. Now I can put it in a frame and hang it on the wall. I don't need to have access to the Laserdisc anymore. I mean, at least Laserdiscs get to be in a frame and go on the wall. I don't just, they're not just landfill.
But it's always strange to me, Rob, that really every material is somehow safe, mostly, even that special feature, they found somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they found it somewhere. What's unfortunate is a lot of the time, like, there's been special features that I've worked on that, like The Emperor's New Groove. We did great special features for the Disney animated film The Emperor's New Groove. They were really great. We were really innovative too. And where have those gone? And then when my first job for a studio, I worked on Fantasia. And because we finished standard def pieces, back in 2000, the piece I did on Herman Schulteis and the actual physical, there were actual physical effects done for Fantasia, and then they rotoscoped over them. And there was a man named Herman Schulteis who actually disappeared, and in South America, and his widow found his book of how he did all the physical effects for Fantasia, and it's a fascinating story. And that piece sort of disappeared. I mean, they updated it, but my work was gone. And often, like our Until Shout Factory brought our special features back for Valley Girl and Eureka Valley Girl. Those special features were gone for 20 years. And our Usual Suspects special features that I was very proud of disappeared until Kino Lorber and then Arrow brought them back after 20 plus years. So, all this work that I did, a lot of it disappeared, but it's now that it's coming back. It's great to see that work come back, because, to do especially Usual Suspects, we had to drive all over hell and high water to do interviews. We had to go to Vegas to Nevada to interview Stephen Baldwin. I mean, it was a lot of work. So it's nice to see all of this stuff coming back into print, even though we shot it in standard def because there was no HD then, but it's still great to see the content come back.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It is.
That's our haul for the week. Still respectable. I mean, you can't break the bank every week. I do have
even a smaller week. As I told you, we had a vacation day yesterday, so even if stuff get held up through that vacation day and will come next week,
Yeah, and I
made quite a cut,
It's true, and there's always stuff we pre-order that we wait and they trickle in, which we'll see. Yeah. So is it time for the news?
Yeah, Rob. Let us hear what you have for us.
Well, I'll tell you
what's coming down the pike.
I'll tell you what's coming down the pike. This is really interesting. So Umbrella announced this. So for those of you who don't know, David Peoples, one of the writers of Blade Runner, he made a movie called The Blood of Heroes, that most people know it under. But it was originally called The Salute of the Jugger, because that was what they were called, Juggers. Umbrella is putting out the Ultimate Edition with a box set and all kinds of swag and comics and T-shirts and everything. So Umbrella is putting this out in 4K. The movie's not great. I really liked it, but it's not great. But to be able to get something like this...
I seen it the last time in the VHS days. I've never seen it since the VHS days.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've got everybody participating and they can get it out in this kind of a format, which is very, very cool. So good on you. So that was one of the more interesting news items of the week. And then this is very exciting. They've been alluding to this, but Hammer, that has done the Four-Sided Triangle and Captain Kronos as big box set special editions, are putting out one of my favorite science fiction films, horror sci-fi films from the 50s, the Quatermass Experiment. And this is in 4K. This is a must-own. There was a Quatermass TV series. And then, of course, there's sequels to Quatermass. And let me just read what's on this set, because they've pulled out all the stops. They are leaving no stone unturned on this one, and it's very, very exciting. So let me get to this and read all about it for you. So this is really amazing. They have so much. I can't even believe how much stuff they have on here. So let me go through this and give you the tea, as it were. So here are the special features and the technical specs. 5 discs, including 2 4K Blu-rays and 3 Blu-rays, with the Hammer content duplicated across both formats. Included in the same set as the film for the first time, the existing episodes, which is kind of scary because that means some don't exist, from the original BBC television series, which I've never seen. 3 iterations of the Quatermass Experiment: the widescreen 166:1 UK theatrical version, the full screen 137:1 as film version, and the widescreen 185 US theatrical version, retitled The Creeping Unknown. A brand new 5.1 mix for the 137 and 166 versions, alongside the original mono soundtrack. A rigid inner box featuring new artwork, which is exciting. A double-sided poster of the original one-sheets. 8 act cards featuring facsimiles of the original UK cinema lobby cards. A 180-page booklet featuring new and reprint articles and reproductions of the original publicity material. A 56-page comic book featuring a reprint of the comic strip from the legendary 1970s magazine The House of Hammer. New commentaries, a bunch of new commentaries. A 2003 interview with Val Guest. And then there's a ton of other stuff on here. I mean, there's a Nigel Neal conversation from the 2005 BBC DVD. Unbelievable. So this is something I'm very excited about. I love this movie. I love the whole Quatermass series. But what a package. You go, Hammer. Definitely getting this. I've not got the Four-Sided Triangle, and I did not get Captain Kronos, although I should probably get Captain Kronos. I just never loved it. And then on to, now this Intervision is putting this out. I don't know who Cliff Twemlow is. I really don't.
I saw that, Rob, and I was thinking the same. Never heard of him.
I have no idea, but Severin's putting this out. Leave it to Severin to put something like this out. Cliff Twemlow was a nightclub bouncer, composer, novelist, actor, filmmaker, and unsung 80s UK legend. For more than a decade, the unstoppable Manchester native, along with a devoted team of local doormen, martial artists, variety performers, models, girlfriends, gym friends, family members, and B-listers, created his own low-budget, shot-on-video empire via a Bullock-bashing oeuvre of gangster films, horror movies, and spy thrillers and sci-fi epics. This first-ever Intervision Picture Group box set brings together every film by the Orson Welles of Eccles, including his infamous Section 3 video nasty GBH Grievous Bodily Harm, sourced from their original tape masters, as well as 2023's sweet, moving, and very, very funny documentary, Mancunian Man, The Legendary Life of Cliff Twemlow, directed by Jake West, plus unfinished projects, over 13 hours of special features, a CD featuring Cliff's music from Dawn of the Dead, and much more. So you had me at Dawn of the Dead. So there you go.
Not for the squeamish.
Not for the squeamish. So there you go. Why not? Now, of course, we come to Criterion's July slate. Fritz Lang's The Big Heat. Oh, this is such a great movie. Coming out in 4K. More great noir. Look at that cover. I love that cover. And then, of course, what I would say goes straight to one of my releases of the year, even though Criterion's put it out before.
Yeah.
One of my most eagerly awaited titles in 4K. Finally, Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. One of the most beautiful films ever made. Can't wait to get this in 4K. Also, Mike Nichols' Carnal Knowledge. I like this movie a lot. Boy, the sexual politics in this film. This movie might get canceled. Who knows? I thought Indicator's putting this out too, I believe. But
yes, correct, Rob. Because our harshest critic, Thomas Logan, said he will buy Carnal Knowledge again because he already owned, I think, the Indicator set.
Oh, well, there you go. And now
has pre-ordered it.
4K, Dolby Vision. It's all good. And then quite a good film from Kenneth Lonergan. You Can Count on Me, coming out. Good choices. All these good choices. And then a perennial favorite from Criterion, Francois Truffaut's sort of Romano Clef on his life. The Adventures of Antoine Doinel. I don't know if that's correct, but beginning with the 400 Blows. This is a great set. I had this on, I want to say I had it on DVD at first, but it's cool that it's finally coming out in 4K. So a great crop of 5 releases from Criterion in July. And I have to say, our friend Elliot Cohen, who I've never actually met. I've had a few email exchanges. Want to get him on the channel. Elliot Cohen's favorite movie of all time is Barry Lyndon. So I had to tune in, and Elliot dropped a video about these new announcements from Criterion. I had to see what his response was, and of course, it always warms my heart hearing Elliot's dulcet tones talking about his favorite movies. And he's somebody, if you don't watch Elliot Cohen's video, he's a soothing presence. You should watch his videos. Go subscribe to him. And he did a really interesting video series. Well, I guess, I don't know if it was a series, but a couple years back when he talked about culling his collection, bringing his collection down, and what was that like? And I always thought that was pretty cool that he did that. But anyway, Elliot's very excited about Barry Lyndon coming out in 4K, as should we all be. Then we've got Lost on a Mountain in Maine. Now, this is not something that would be on my wheelhouse, except on the top of the disc it says, from producer Sylvester Stallone. And I'm like,
based on the best-selling book. Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what this movie's about. But I'm interested. What's it like to be lost on a mountain in Maine?
Looks like a cool survival story.
And this is from a movie that came out in 2024, and don't know anything about it. But you know what? You can't have a movie produced by Sylvester Stallone without a movie starring Sylvester Stallone and his great canon film, Over the Top. Coming out. Yeah. I mean, if somebody were to tell you after looking at this poster that this movie is about arm wrestling, truly, it is. Would you? Cape Light is putting this out. Robert Loggia, Susan Blakely, and Sylvester Stallone. So they're putting it out.
And if I remember correctly, Rob, a great song from the Red Rocker.
Menachem Golan's movie. So let's hear it from Menachem, because there you go. And look at this cover. I think this cover's great.
Cover's great.
But and it is, of course, in 4K, and it is Dolby Vision. And Sylvester Stallone stars as the hard luck big rig trucker Lincoln Hawk, and takes us under the glaring Las Vegas lights for all the boisterous action of the World Arm Wrestling Championship. Over the top. Relying, there you go.
Only canon.
Only Stallone, man. There it is. So Over the Top for everybody who wants to get that. I know you are legion. Then this is interesting. The new remake, if you like Mario Bava's Danger Diabolik, or just Diabolik, from the 60s, they did more Diabolik movies, and Kino Lorber is putting this out. And there's a series of movies. There's Diabolik and Diabolik Ginkgo Attacks. You've shown them before, right?
Yeah.
So these are
the German version, Rob. It was the comics
Yeah.
And there were, I think, there are three movies, if I remember correctly.
And Kino Lorber is also doing a 4K of Mario Bava's Danger Diabolik, which,
nice.
by the way, is if you've never seen it, is awesome. And so here you go. So we're getting the new Diaboliks as well as the original Diabolik. So that's exciting. And then just in time for Easter, The Blood of Jesus is coming from Film Masters. And again, this is from 1941. And let me just read what The Blood of Jesus is going to bring to your shelves. It doesn't even want me to read this, apparently, which I don't know why. But there it is. It's the mighty epic of modern morals. So there you go. And we don't have many morals on this show. So, hey, if you want to get that, you can get it. Now, this is one I'm kind of excited about. One of the very first, along with Halloween, that was on Meta.
Yeah.
I believe this was on Media. But another Charles Band production coming out from 101 Films, Tourist Trap. Mr. Slauson. I used to love this movie. This is another video movie, that one of the first videos I owned back when I was 13. I showed it to all my friends, whether they were old enough to see it or not. But kind of an interesting movie if you've never seen it. But it's Chuck Connor's finest hour. And this is coming out June 23rd. I'll pick this up. I think this is a pretty good horror film, actually. I enjoy it. Film Masters, another one. Mac Bing and Arthur Marks' The Class of 74. This looks like a total exploitation title. I don't know anything about it. But, the description.
Versatile cover artwork.
Beautiful but uptight college student Gabriella gets inducted into a more open and free-spirited lifestyle by her three loose and uninhibited pals. Fiery Carla, saucy Maggie, and brassy Heather. So this reminds me of the kind of movies when... What? Go ahead.
The slip says limited edition. Does it perhaps mean just the slip? Does the slipcase?
I don't know.
The whole title.
Well, it's for me. This looks like a movie. When we first got cable, a lot of what was on cable were like 70s Crown International Pictures that were sex comedies, high school students on spring break, like Malibu Beach or Van Nuys Boulevard or just The Van. So this fits right in. I probably watched this when I was 13. Waiting for boobs. That's what somebody should make a documentary. Waiting for boobs. And it's all about being a kid when cable was new. You're watching the Z channel here in LA, or you're doing something else, and all you wanted to see was any glimpse of nudity. And if you had cable or not, you're going back and forth between channels to see something.
In hope.
It's like Waiting for Godot, but different.
Yeah.
Waiting for boobs. Let's do it, people. Or not. I don't know if anybody would be interested. Boobs are so yesterday. Although they're never going to go out of style as far as I'm concerned. No matter what. Right, Dietz? You're right.
Good.
So
Kiss me.
Severin is putting out 2 lost Andy Milligan films, and there's 2 new restorations. Again, the movie is called The Degenerates. They always go down to the lowest depths of human sensuality. Okay, and then there's Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. No one man can satisfy her. Well, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is about a married woman who pursues an affair with her abusive husband's best friend and tries to keep her secret life going despite her personal life collapsing around her. And this actually sounds pretty good. The Degenerates is actually in a post-nuclear Holocaust world. Three nomadic men are accosted by a group of 5 murderous women living in a secluded farmhouse. Well, I would watch that. I want to find, Dieter, I got to say that my entire life I've wanted to stumble over 5 murderous women in a farmhouse.
The synopsis convinced you immediately.
I'm in, man. I'm in. Real or fantasy, doesn't matter. because we can get it. It's coming from Andy Milligan and the boys and girls at Severin, who you can always rely on to do this. Now, this is really interesting. Severin super sleuth Todd Weinecke found the prints during post-production on the new Severin doc, The Degenerate, The Life and Films of Andy Milligan. While researching the Dutch theatrical releases of 3 William Mishkin extraordinary films, he discovered a pristine 35mm release print of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me at Amsterdam's Eye Film Museum. The print was in excellent condition, having been shelved unscreened and unreleased by a Netherlands distributor who donated it to iFilm sometimes in the 70s. Then, while researching the Belgian releases of several Milligan films, he discovered that The Degenerates had a lone Flemish theatrical listing in 1968 as Les Degenerates, a year before Fellini's film of the same name alternate title was released. And further research revealed that when Pardon Films ceased operation in the early 1970s, the distributor donated their surviving inventory to the Royal Film Archive of Belgium in Brussels. So there you go. Though their lone print of The Degenerates was in extremely poor condition, riddled with heavy scratches and projection damage, torn perforations, missing footage, and with affixed French-Dutch subtitles, Severin's post-production team spent months on essential repairs and restoration prior to this 2K scan, followed by several weeks of digital restoration. Tribeca will be their first public screening in half a century. So there you go. 5 women, 3 men in a post-apocalyptic landscape that took 50 years to get to you on physical media.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Tom Jr. Jackson says that we are both out of sync. He says
we're out of sync.
Out of sync, okay.
We're in sync. Maybe the
yeah, totally. The internet has to catch up with us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Here, wait. Stop for 1 minute, Dietz. Okay, now let's see if we can get back to being in sync. Who knows? And we're not going to sing like the boy band, but there you go. So
Totally.
I'm just telling you what I can tell you. Then we're getting a beautiful Mamoru Hosoda, who we've talked about his films here before. Wolf Children's coming out in a new, beautiful steelbook. So that's kind of cool. Sony Pictures is releasing the movie that everybody can't wait to get on 4K, a Best Picture winner, everyone's favorite Best Picture winner. It comes to the forefront of your mind whenever you think Best Picture. You think this movie, Oliver. Please, sir, may I have some more? If this is what you want, you can get it now as a single disc. Oliver. Here it is for you, coming out from Sony. You go, Sony. Then we've got Catherine Deneuve in The President's Wife, a recent film. Catherine Deneuve still a hottie even today. Cohen Media Group is a sub-label of Kino. They distribute that. So, hey, I'll watch anything Catherine Deneuve is in. I've been in love with her for 60 years, and I'm not even 60 years old yet. So there you go.
Great quote on the cover. Deneuve reminds audience that why she is such a screen legend.
Yes, and she will never stop being one. And I met her once. Face to face. And then we have Ivy coming out. Joan Fontaine Imprint is putting out this a great noir potboiler. Ivy is beautiful. Ivy is lovely. Ivy is evil. Hey, you had me at evil. What's not to love? And then we've got Vestron. We have another disc coming out. They're bringing back the Vestron label at Lionsgate, and they're putting out Lucky McKee's May. So that's exciting. See what else they do. The Vestron label put out some good stuff. They put out a favorite of mine, Waxwork, Anthony Hickox's Waxwork. So I'm happy to see this come back. May I already have it, but cool to see this coming back into print. And the Vestron label's great. And also, if you notice, it has Lionsgate Limited on it as well. So Lionsgate Limited. See at the bottom. So maybe I haven't talked to Lisa about this yet, but I knew that they were doing some Vestron labels, Vestron label stuff. So this is pretty exciting. We'll see what else they put out. Woohoo! And then, of course, the 15th anniversary Kick-Ass Steelbook. Big Daddy is 15 years old. Check it out. Chloe Grace Moretz.
One of my favorites.
Such a good one. Yeah. Such a good one. Then finally, Kino Lorber. I think we've talked about this before, but they finally dated Mouse Hunt with Nathan Lane and Lee Evans. There's the disc. It's coming out in 4K. Who's hunting who? Well, Kino Lorber's bringing it to you. Either way. And then
was let me rub a Paramount DreamWorks picture, Mouse Hunt.
I believe it is. And now Charles Burnett, no relation, by the way. And this is never before released, and this is a new 4K restoration, and from the director of To Sleep with Anger and Killer of Sheep, Lynn Redgrave, Margot Kidder, James Earl Jones. This is the Milestone Cinematheque. So they've been, again, another Kino sub-label that they've been putting out. They've been putting out some really interesting stuff. So I've never seen this movie, don't know anything about it, but I have seen both Killer of Sheep and To Sleep with Anger. And so I will watch this film. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, we got Beat Takahashi Kitano. Before he taught, or before he was a teacher at the school that Battle Royale is from, he was in gangster movies. He had a career as a gangster. So there you go. BFI is putting this out with an 18 certificate, which is interesting. So that's cool.
It's good, Rob. It's good.
It is. It's very good. It's very good. And then finally, we got top-selling Blu-ray disc. This is, of course, a compilation of all formats. Mufasa, The Lion King, Flight Risk at number 2, Dogman at number 3, Moana 2 at number 4, A Complete Unknown at number 5. And look at this. The Long Kiss Goodnight limited edition.
Loud. Say it loud, Rob. Number 6.
The Long Kiss Goodnight limited edition. Rennie Harlan. Oh yeah. Well, we're not done with this.
There it is.
You're gonna love me soon. My Hero Academia. You're Next at number 7. Wicked at number 8. Love Hurts at number 9. Boy, that didn't stay in theaters very long. Nosferatu at number 10. But now let's go to the 4K only listing. All right, Dieter, are you sitting down?
I'm sitting, Rob. I'm sitting, yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to get a change of underwear on this one. Just telling you.
Okay.
Top-selling 4K discs. Look at what number 1 is.
I rest my case.
The Long Kiss Goodnight is number 1. And number 2...
belongs, Rob. Where it belongs.
I mean, number 2 is Inglourious Bastards. Look at Arrow. Look, I love seeing boutique labels. I mean, taking studio movies and putting them at the top of the charts. Gladiator 2 is number 3. Tommy Boy from Kino is number 4. Ooh. Wicked, number 5. Flight Risk, number 6. Akira, which, by the way, Michael B. Jordan said was one of his 4 favorite movies when he was interviewed by Letterboxd on the red carpet at Sinners. Number 8 is Twin Peaks from A to Z, or from Z to A. Mine's going to Max Allen Collins. Number 9 is Prince of Egypt. And number 10 is Nosferatu. So, these are all good. That's all the news.
It's always great to see that the effort that they put in pays off, Rob.
Oh yeah,
would be totally.
I mean, I could see Arrow's Dark City
if the titles wouldn't sell that they put out.
100%. So pretty good. Very respectable list of both new titles. A lot of interesting stuff coming out. Love to see what Umbrella's doing. But every time I look at one of their big box sets, I start calculating shipping in my mind, and I think the shipping is
just look, Rob, that you get over those, over the limit, that you get at least free shipping.
I know. Well, I guess I'm going to turn it over to you now, sir.
Yeah. Just look, Rob. Do we have some super chats first?
Let's see if we do. Major Chai Chai, Major Chai Chai said, "Happy birthday, Robert." Thank you, Major. Appreciate that. And I'm going to turn it over to you then to give us the live chat.
Previously on Let's Get Physical Media, Gary Benjo Sandwich Worthington. considering we have, always some technical problems, internet problems. And he says, like old physical media, are you still on AOL disk internet, Rob? Those old days. Das Vengeance. Props to Dieter for staying up. Yeah, it was a little bit later, but everything that I can do for our show. And at least I didn't have early shift, so it was doable. Danzig, 1979. I saw The Chicken Jockey showing today with my daughter in 40X. It was fun experience. Film was a 5 out of 10, but fun for the kids. Blazing Asian. I'm not fond of Satan, though. That guy can be a real jerk. But Darth Vengeance says, yeah, but Satan makes good music, so it's a give or take, 50-50. Timey-wimey limey, region 3 is key. Yeah, and we're glad we finally, when 4K came to the market, we finally gotten region 3 with 4K. That was one of the great advantages of 4K. Yes, I know there are 1 or 2 titles that are not, but I'm still think that were mistakes made with those titles. Merely, considering we've talking a lot about of director's cuts, longer versions. Merely, Jane's Punisher is another movie made much better by its DC. Okay. Marty DMC 12, movie fests like Fantasia and TCM film festivals are pretty much all that's left for hardcore cinephiles. Indie film festivals have turned into snob fests, even more so than they used to be. Okay. Danzig, 1979. Rob will be pleased. My son came home today and said, I bought a DVD for £4. That film was stone cold. This could be a great bonding moment. And Das Vengeance says the same. Jane's Punisher in DC is actually great. It said that the DC is not in 4K, so I won't buy until then. I'll stick with my DC DVD until then. And Marty DMC 12 reminds us Batman Forever is 30 years old. Too bad that Schumacher cut is never gonna happen. Yeah, I would really love to see that cut. And Danzig and Todd Jones says, no cut in the world could make Batman Forever good. It's already good. Can only make better. And Danzig 1979 says, I'd like to see the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever 2. Yeah. Das Vengeance. Another movie that is better in extended cut, Waterworld. And is not extended cut in 4K. God, I hate how studios do that. That's not entirely correct, Das Vengeance, because I showed it. Playon did that box set. And don't ask me how, but the longer version in that box set is in 4K. Just say. Timey-wimey-limey, Kingdom of Heaven is only worth watching if it's the director's cut. Correct. Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington says he loves Shoplifters. I have not seen the movie yet. Hopefully, I will love it too. And as mentioned, I thought he said Sardos. Yes, I did say Sardos because Rob and Elizabeth reviewed both movies, Longest Good Night and Sardos. It was a viewer's choice, and Rob had to watch Longest Good Night 2 with Sardos. And the next one really warmed my heart because I wasn't aware of that little tiny detail. And Major Chai Chai reminded me of that. And Rob even put Longest Good Night in a special sleeve. And we know only the good movies get a special sleeve. That was the best in the live chat, Major Chai Chai. He put Longest Good Night in a special sleeve. Just saying, that's all I wanted to see because I almost missed that little detail. Braintail's Aura, love booklets, very cool. Tim Hens, Dietz is waiting for that fourth Fairlane release, of course, longer cut. Merely, Dietz has a lot of energy, considering how late it was. Pretty hold up. Clarence Maxwell, Dieter gets his 10,000 steps in a day back and forth to the Blu-ray player to insert his trash. I wish it were 10,000 steps. BDEP, I like Deep Blue Sea, was a blind watch and really enjoyed it. That's great. I don't know. Rick Galindo, Blu-ray companies need to keep making Blu-rays. Consumers are at the mercy of streaming services for their favorite movies, for their favorite film or TV to be streaming. Basically, physical media needs to keep existing. As mentioned, we talked about when we did purchase the last movie in a store. And as mentioned said, well, I live far from big cities. The nearest is 45 minutes away. So buying physical is not an option in a store for me. Everything I buy, it is online. Marvel Star Wars Fanatic 6. I went to Target recently, and in the game aisle, there was one movie, Twisters, on 4K, and on the back it said clearance, $28. And I was like, that's a clearance? Well, that's not a Schnäppchen. And Marvel Star Wars Fanatic, considering Twisters, I wouldn't even buy it as a Schnäppchen. Yes, I purchased this myself, but for me, Twisters was totally a disappointing sequel, remake, whatever. Adventure Square. Speaking of director's cut or final cuts, Rob was right on the money when he said they were probably reworking Shelby Oaks a little bit, the Chris Duckman movie. And Adventure Square says, speaking of director's cut or final cuts, I saw Shelby Oaks at Fantasia last year and will be curious to see what changes. Yeah, that will be certainly interesting. Thus mentioned, at least you have seen the version that he made already. Thus mentioned, I have the Alien movies Blu-ray box set. I only watch the extended director's cuts of each movie. In my opinion, they are all better that way, except for number 2.
I have to say, have you ever watched the director's cut of Alien?
Yes, I have, Rob.
I mean, there's a few extended scenes, like when they find the bodies, but the film is pretty different. There's all different kinds of cutaways and things, and I find the captain. I'm conflicted about that. I think the versions of Alien are different enough. I mean, I think they're actually different experiences, to be honest. And when I went back and showed somebody, I'm not convinced. I think one day I'm going to have to watch them back to back to decide which one. By the way, The Last of Us does get a sleeve. All steelbooks get sleeves, by the way.
Awesome.
Just saying.
Awesome.
So
I have to check both versions out to get a new bearing, Rob, on those. When you said there's a lot of difference, I didn't even know that.
I mean, it's shot to shot differences. You know, it's interesting. It's an interesting case study.
Yeah. Nice.
So, yeah.
Have to get back to that. Victor Fontaine, I skipped the 4K release of Tombstone. Didn't want to pay for the steelbook along with no director's cut and less than 70 megabytes per second compression on a 66 gigabyte disk. Yearly, regular cut of Kingdom of Heaven is trash. Okay. Todd Jones, I wouldn't mind if they were the size of a laser disc, but it would be a storage problem for Dieter and Rob. Well, Todd, every disc now is a storage problem, no matter how big or small the edition is. Tommy Ricknell, as a theatrical preservationist, I'm kind of bummed to see this trend of movies not having their theatrical presentations restored, regardless of what you think about them, inferior or not. Thus mentioned, Laura Dern in Smooth Talk, yummy. Laura Dern in The Last Jedi, not yummy. Marvel Star Wars Fanatic is there to help me out because he said, I love Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw it 6 times in theaters. Shaynana Myotherapy, it is true. Dieter looks like James Spader. Okay? Then I'll take it. Victor Fontaine, for your information, my 4K 3-disc steelbook of Basic Instinct shipped from Lionsgate, getting it on Tuesday like Rob did too. Bo Edmonds, I really want to see King of Kings and Warfare. Last 2 movies I saw, Working Man and The Last Supper, was great. And Miele reminds us, Billingsley was in Iron Man 1. Correct, Rob? And wasn't he even not an executive producer a little bit on Iron Man 1? If I remember correctly.
Peter Billingsley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Or am I wrong?
No,
correct.
He
was acting and a little bit producing. Tim Hens, considering I had to do 2 live chat recaps, and Tim Hens says, and Deeds didn't even break a sweat after rushing through that extended live chat. And Avenger Square says, that was the Kevin Costner length version of live chat. And then we come to the final ones. Tim Hens, auf Wiedersehen, everyone. Go get some sleep, Deeds. I did that. And Bo Edmonds, yeah, Rob and Dieter made it through. Sometimes it can happen without technical snafu. And Marvel's Lovers Fanatic, see ya, guys. Great show. BDEP, great show as always. Time for Deeds to go to bed. And time when Malima said, thanks, chat. Thanks, chat. You guys are also awesome. That was the live chat from last week.
Well, we have a super chat from Hitchhiker42 who sent an email for our P.O. box, and he also sent me an email. He just sent me an email now, and let me put myself on camera and read it. Hi, Rob. As I mentioned on the Physical Media Show a few weeks ago, I was looking for your P.O. box to send you a package, including the Carry On Screaming and another disc of an old 80s BBC time travel story and its sequel, which you might not have seen or heard of. I don't think I have. I also picked up a couple of fictional books from a charity shop from a writer, Frank Loria, who you might have heard of. I have heard of Frank Loria. I'm a member and I go by the name Hitchhiker42 on YouTube. I will send you back my email, or my address, but don't send any crazy people to my house. So, and then Kung Fu Hot Dog says, Rob, do you have the Lahane Criterion 4K? I don't. I fall behind on Criterion 4Ks because I wait usually to the sales. Sale. You know, there's and I'll get a box full. I'm really behind on Criterion 4Ks. So I think, doesn't a sale happen in May? Isn't it like May and November?
I don't know, Rob, when the Criterion sales are.
I'm not sure, but definitely do that. But I will pick that up because I want to get that. So, yeah.
Is that already out, Rob? Lahane on Criterion?
I think it is out.
I thought the release date. Okay.
I think it is. Or maybe it's not out yet. Okay. But I do not have it. I have other versions of it, but I don't have the new 4K. There's so many 4K things I'm behind on that I want to pick up.
Yeah. I know it's always good, Rob. Sometimes if you're behind, you have the luck to get it as a Schnäppchen. No?
Well, that's the thing. It's true.
Yeah. And you always see it in the top 10 that you present. There are always some titles that are up there because they are price reduced.
Yes, 100%.
And they make the top 10. So, do we have time for
I think so.
Okay.
Do we have time? This is a short show. We're only an hour and a half in, dude.
Oh, we could make 2, Rob.
Oh, no.
So, that can help you out, Rob.
Yep, that's Mira Romaine. That would be the Lights of Zatar.
Where's my lights?
Episode.
I need lights.
We're into this third season bullshit. It's okay.
They are random, Rob. Totally random. So
I know, but I mean, come on, Mark of Gideon and Lights of Zatar.
Okay. Dr. McCoy determined that Romaine's brainwaves matched the entities inhabiting her body by. Okay, I'll repeat that, Rob. Dr. McCoy determined that Romaine's brainwaves matched the entities inhabiting her body by. What did he do, actually, Dr. McCoy? How will
I'm going to need to go multiple choice on that one, buddy.
Okay, Rob. Number A, Rob. Comparing her brain circuitry pattern. B. Analyzing a brain synaptic scan. C. Using hypnosis. A. Comparing her brain circuitry pattern. B. Analyzing a brain synaptic scan.
You know what?
C,
I have no idea. I'm going to say
hypnosis.
B. I have no idea what the answer to this is.
It was actually A, Rob. Comparing her brain circuitry pattern.
Her brain
Who was
circuitry
enamored-
pattern. Okay.
Who was enamored of Lieutenant Mira Romaine?
Scotty.
Yes, sir. Scotty. Where did the live entities that invaded Lieutenant Mira Romaine's body originate? Where did the life entities that invaded Lieutenant Mira's
In space?
body originate?
I mean, they came from space.
I don't. Is that perhaps a planet, Rob?
I guess I'd have to go multiple choice on that one.
Okay. A.
I mean,
Vega. B. Zeta. C. Exos.
The lights of Zetar.
Correct, Rob.
Yeah.
Multiple choice correct here. When did the non-corporeal life forms under Lieutenant Mira remains? When did the
Non-corporeal. Yeah.
Non-corporeal life forms enter Lieutenant Mira remains body? When? It's so strange because often the answer is not a word; it's more of a description.
Right.
I'd
have to go multiple choice on that one too.
Number A, Rob. Before the USS Enterprise arrived at Memory Alpha. After USS Enterprise arrived at Memory Alpha. C, when she was born.
B.
It was A, Rob. Before the USS Enterprise arrived at Memory Alpha. And the last one, Rob. The creator of the puppet character Lamb Chop co-wrote the lights of Zeta.
Sherry Lewis.
What was the writer's? Correct, Rob. That you got correct. So Rob, happy a little bit out about the episode, third season.
The lights of Zetar. Yeah, it's lovely.
Okay.
As you can see, I remember it well.
You remember?
But I remember who wrote it.
Yeah, that's the more perhaps the more important thing, because sometimes the answer is really tough. What they actually want to know, if it's not just a word,
Yeah.
They want almost an essay, Rob, from you, as an answer.
Well, I know it's the questions are odd. Those are odd.
But they are from experts, Rob, from experts.
Yeah.
This together.
Garrett Groover says, I just saw Sinners and it was amazing.
Yeah.
If Marvel were smart, they would get Ryan Coogler to make Blade. It's interesting. When I interviewed, you can go see the interview I did with Ruth Carter. She was working on Blade when she got the call from Ryan Coogler to come work on Sinners.
Did she tell you something specific about Blade?
She only told me that the version of Blade she was working on was set in the 1920s. And Sinners took place in 1938 or 1932. So she thought that was amusing that it was period vampire stuff. So she was already deep in it. And she said, because of the strikes, Blade got derailed. I mean, we've heard it's had so many starts and stops. I don't know. But she just said that, she didn't say whether it was canceled or anything like that. She just said that she was working on Blade. You can hear her say it when I interviewed her. I thought that was really, really interesting. So that was cool. Always a good thing. Mile, am I getting that right? I haven't said his name in a while.
Miele.
Miele, I thought it was wrong. Miele, BFI says BFI is showing Star Wars unaltered in June. Does George Lucas know? So yes, apparently, and I'm curious to see whether this is actually going to happen.
Okay.
But the BFI, the British Film Institute, is showing the original 1977 version of Star Wars. Now, purists could say different versions of Star Wars had different soundtracks. Like the 70 millimeter soundtrack was different. There was different. So as long as it's the unaltered version that doesn't say Episode 4, A New Hope, and to see the no CGI effects and anything like that.
Yeah.
Look, I think that a lot of Star Wars fans, there is a theory that is going because George Lucas had a very cantankerous divorce with Marcia Lucas, his wife, that Star Wars was making her money, in the divorce settlement. So when George Lucas created the special editions in 1997, they have a different copyright. So they're not the same. They're not the same movie. So the versions of Star Wars that have existed since 1997 do not belong to his wife. She can't get the money. So that's I don't know if that's true or not. Just an interesting theory.
Yeah.
But
when
who knows?
it comes to money, Rob, a good theory, you know.
Yeah, probably a good theory.
About the moolah.
Blue Sunrise says, "Hey Rob, your advice, has helped me step out of my shell, and I met a girl, and I think she likes me. Let's hope this goes well." Well, that's great, Blue Sunrise. Great to hear. My only continuing advice would be just be cool. Be cool. Let things unfold as they should. Be a gentleman.
Enjoy that nice Cat in the Bag movie that Rob bought, you know. Frauen im
Don't tell her that. And remember, don't push anything. Don't push anything. And the first time you kiss her, if you haven't yet, make sure it's very soft and inviting, but purposeful. Don't use any tongue. Bring your finesse game. It's important. You'll see. Just be cool. Always ask yourself, am I being cool? Just be cool. It's always better say less than more. That's all I can tell you. Say and don't talk about yourself. Always ask her questions. So that's my 2 seconds of advice for you. Make it happen though, and report back. We want to know.
Correct.
Mielu says, "Don't get married, Blue Sunrise. Come on now. Don't shatter Blue Sunrise's dreams yet." So,
not that early.
Anyway, we are caught up on Super Chats.
Okay. So, Rob, I know it's a little bit shorter, but I think we've gone through everything.
We've done it.
Usually do. So, from my end, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. And with that, I want to thank everybody that generously supports this channel via Super Chats and tips and memberships and all those things. We're going to have a member call next week. And I am deep. People are wondering, we are deep now into producing special features for True Noir. As I said, the soundtrack album is really great. I mean, even if you've never even heard True Noir, the soundtrack album is really, really good. And I would recommend it. And we'll probably have it. The donors will get one, obviously, that paid for it. But we will have more. I'm going to make more to sell. I'll probably it'll be a limited run of like 1,000. So only 1,000 will exist. It'll be like a turbine release. They'll make 600 and however. So, or maybe we'll make 1,933 because the story ends in 1933. Unless you're talking about the coda, but then you can say it's not just 1933. But anyway, it's very exciting, so I'm really having a ball doing that. So I guess we're going to be back next week with more discs and more quips. So that's good.
Normal Sunday show next week, people.
All right, normal Sunday show. Happy Easter, everybody, and enjoy the time you have with your family and all of that. And go see Sinners. On Easter weekend, the best time to see a movie called Sinners is on Easter weekend, so go see it. And on that note, everyone, we will bid you a fond farewell. And that is the end of that stream.
Okay.
That was good.
We did it.
That